Thank you. We're good, John.
Okay, good afternoon, everybody. This is the call to order and the roll call for our civil service meeting. So Leilani, if you would please call roll.
John Kale,
Here.
Amy Ida,
Here.
Mark Krinovich,
Here.
all are present.
Terrific. So we'll go on to new business then. Our first item and only item tonight is a request from the fire chief. Welcome tonight.
Thank you. Thank you.
We're happy to review this request for you. The request is for us to approve your examination notice, timeline, and hiring procedures for the promotion position of captain for the fire department. And I don't know if you would like to give us a little bit of background, that would be great.
Absolutely. First of all, I want to thank you for this special meeting. I see firsthand you're taking time out of your personal schedules for this, and it means a lot. I really, really do. Secondly, I want to thank Leilani because she has been working with me, guiding me, holding my hand through this process. So she's been invaluable. So I've worked a lot with Chief Starnes trying to get the format down because civil service is new to me. So I come from a township atmosphere. So I really see why you guys do what you do, and it makes a lot of sense. So I hope I fit into your process. So what I'm proposing tonight has been put into motion with a vacancy in the captain's position from Captain Martin Hafey. He was our 40-hour administrative captain. He had got a job opportunity to go to Hamilton Township to be fire chief, and it was a last-minute, kind of a last-minute opportunity for him. So this is because of that. So this is one of our 4 captain's positions that is in the bargaining unit. And I'm just proposing that we fill the position with a very similar process that we've used in the past with just some minor changes. So I've proposed a few new things that I'm willing to talk about, but that's kind of what set all this into motion. I felt like a meeting before our next scheduled meeting in March 2nd was called for just because the timeline. Getting on the Ohio Fire Chief's schedule for number one, the written process was dealing with one entity, and then getting on for the assessment center process was the second one. So I almost had to kind of line up the stars to get everything to meet the deadline to where we wouldn't have any hardships with overtime and the filling of the vacancy. And I think we've done that because of your guys' willingness to jump on board with this special meeting. So I appreciate that.
I have an initial question for you, which is just looking at the fire captain interview questions. You do have some good examples where you are, so a lot of times in an employer, they'll use the STAR principle when they're doing interviews. It's like a behavioral interview process where they'll say, give us a situation and a problem that you solved, and give us an actual action that you took and what was the result, because it's really based on behavior. And usually if they can't describe an example of, okay, well, in dealing with difficult people, I had this example with this person when I worked for the township, and they were very rude at a big meeting, and I diffused the situation by taking the person aside. We addressed it, and then this was the result. I noticed that it looks like you kind of have, like in number 7, describe a difficult problem you've had to deal with.
Yeah.
I just wonder if you would consider maybe some more questions like that. I don't know. I don't know if it might be worth considering just a few for them to like walk you through a scenario, maybe slightly reword a few of them. I don't know. I don't know what the others think too. I'm just throwing that out.
I would agree wholeheartedly with John. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, I was going to get on my performance-based interviewing soapbox. You guys heard me get on before, but John kind of stole my thunder, and I agree with John. I think.
Sorry.
No. I think a lot of the questions are almost there, and I took some notes, and I'd be willing to share the notes I made on some of the questions. But to John's point, the whole principle behind behavioral-based interviewing questions is a notion that past performance is a pretty good predictor of future performance. And so you want to try to tease out from applicants specifically what did they do, what have they done, describe a situation as John described, as John explained, what worked, what didn't work, what would they do differently, so that you have more kind of substantive information about their particular experience or performance in a particular area of questioning. And like John said, I think a lot of these are almost there. I just was going to suggest inserting some language to kind of like follow up or to kind of broaden the extent of the question. But I think there's a lot of good stuff here, a lot of good questions here.
I think those are.
Go ahead.
I think that those are great points. I would love to have your feedback.
Okay.
The one thing I would add is we do know these people. They're all internal.
Okay.
We've got at least 5 years of personnel evaluations on them, and I do feel like this captain's position, their biggest liability is going to happen inside the four walls of the firehouse.
Yes.
Every problem that we have, is not going to be on the street. It's not going to be with providing service. It's going to be dealing with issues in the firehouse, motivating, inspiring, and leading. So everything you guys are saying makes really, really good sense.
Yeah.
I had a suggestion for one question that I think I'd like to see if you'd be willing to ask all of the candidates. I didn't really see much in there focusing on EEO issues, and I was wondering if you could ask them, and giving sort of specific example, what's your familiarity with our EEO policy? Give me an example of what you've done to promote our EEO policy within the ranks. Just given the climate that we're living in, I think making sure we're sending that message to people that we want someone who's going to abide by that policy and be a good example in that area. I'd like to see if we could add that.
That's always a pertinent question nowadays, always. And we do have some very young people that will be going through this process that we want to set that expectation early on that this is a priority of the city. And I like where that's going. I really do. Very good.
Well, I didn't make notes on each question, but I'll send you an email. He's on the email string, isn't he, Leilani, for tonight's meeting? Is your email address, Chief?
It should be.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay,
And
I'll find.
send you it too.
I'll find it. No worries. And I'll specifically, I'll kind of reword each of the questions. And again, this is just suggested language.
Okay.
You kind of do what you feel most comfortable with. But to both John and Amy's point, I appreciate the fact that they are all internal candidates. They have a knowledge of how things are done. But I also think a very well-designed interview process, and I think the rest of the commissioners would agree with me, helps kind of differentiate between the candidates and also helps you make an informed decision process that's defensible in the long term. And that's not where we expect to go, but it's always something we have to kind of keep in the back of our mind.
And you're exactly right. And, the oral interview part is a gigantic part of this process.
Yes,
this is
right.
where we fine tune the right candidate to meet our needs. So
Right.
It's greatly important. So these questions are going to help drill down. I welcome that feedback.
Okay.
Yeah, these are easy to kind of adjust.
Just tweak.
Good.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
These are questions I've carried with me for many years, and they can be adapted to different situations. And absolutely.
Okay.
And Mark, when you draft
Go ahead.
those, Mark, will you also draft the EEO question, or how do you all want to do?
I can, unless if Amy, if you have specific language or things that you would like to see, if you'll send it to me, I can send it on to the chief, and then or you can include it, and I'll copy everyone on what I send him, just so we're all on the same page.
Okay. Amy, I would like to know kind of what you want me to target. I think that's really good.
Yep, I'm happy to send a proposed question.
Perfect.
I would like to suggest that the emails, they include everybody, including me, so that we can keep it a part of the record.
Perfect. Yes.
That sounds good. So I think what we'll say is, I guess what I would suggest is that we make a move to approve, well, unless there are other items related to this request. That was the only one I had, but I don't know if you had something else, Mark. Go ahead.
I just had one question, and I'm looking at the document, so I can't see if Amy's raising her hand. I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. Go ahead, Mark.
I grew up in a family where you had to assert yourself or you were out of the boat. You missed the boat. So,
I got it.
so I was just curious about the testing process, and I'm looking at the document from the Ohio Fire Chiefs Association. And I presume these are all costs that we, the city, have to incur for this process. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And so it's $1,000 for a written exam right off the bat, and then we have to pay $20 per candidate. And then I presume these questions are sort of fire chief specific and cover all the areas that you have listed?
The $1,000 is a total. So basically you pay $20 an applicant for the written test.
Okay.
And for anything that I have them customize questions based on our material, which will be our best practices, our bargain agreement, and our EMS protocol.
Okay.
It's $8 a question.
I see.
So I have 2 outside sources in there that they already have a bank of questions on. So that's included in the $20 a candidate. So it probably will be less than that $1,000 for the written.
Okay. And then on the assessment center, it says 6 maximum. That will be based on how many of the candidates, how many successfully passed the test will be then referred to the assessment center?
We have, the way our organization is made up, I don't want to make a minimum to move on to the assessment center. I want everyone to move on to the assessment center since that's the heavily weighted part. And it seems like we're only going to have about 6 people put in to take it. So I'm very comfortable doing that. And
do they need to successfully pass the written exam before they reach the next stage?
I am proposing everyone who takes the process gets a chance to move on to the assessment center. I don't want it based on a written score and just a test taker. I want everybody to move on.
All right, that's fair. Yeah.
And to tell you, I want to use this process, this ranking that we come up with at the end, I'm going to use for the people that write out a class for the captain. So when the captain's off duty, we have people that step up and ride for the captain in their place. What a great thing to use. If we're going to put this effort into this process, let's reward the people that take it and let's treat them according.
Yeah. Okay. I just wanted clarification on that. Thank you for explaining it.
No, you're welcome. I'm happy to. And again, we're not maxed out by 6. If 9 people put in for it, we can incorporate that. Just that price was based on 6 people.
Okay.
Yes. I wish everyone in my organization would take this process.
Well, I think it's a great experience for all of them to go through, and I think it's and you're encouraging that is good for I think for the morale, I would guess.
And I'm not just saying this. This is one of the most important things that I do as a fire chief. You know, besides safety and service delivery.
Sure.
I'm setting up the organization for the years ahead and picking the right people. I'm telling you, I'm here to inspire people to want to be a part of our organization. And that's what I want this process to do.
That sounds like music to our ears.
Yeah.
And I promise you, this is near and dear to me. I have been through some bad processes and I've been through some good ones.
Yeah.
I've put my heart and soul in this because I want this at the end of it. There's going to be some people that aren't happy with how it turned out. But they're going to say, wow, that was fair. That was a very well done process. And that's my goal.
And it also lets them know what they need to think about doing better or different for the future.
Well, I want to tell you, that's the one thing at the end of this process, the Ohio Fire Chiefs will give each candidate a profile.
That's good.
That is probably 20 pages. It talks about what they did well, what they didn't do well. It's going to set their goals and it's going to set suggestions for the next time. So if they take this profile and they build their career from this, they're going to be highly successful as they go on to the next process. And they've never had that before. So this is going to give them a roadmap of how to progress in their careers.
Great. Excellent.
That's awesome.
Great.
Yes, sir.
I don't have any more questions. I'm ready to proceed whenever Everyone else is satisfied with their questions answered.
Amy, how about you? Do you have any other questions?
I don't. I'm ready to proceed as well.
Okay. Well, I would just move that we approve the examination notice, the timeline, and the hiring procedures for the promotional position of captain and for the fire department.
I'll second.
Okay, all in favor say aye.
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 So the request is approved. And Chief, congratulations and good job. And this is just subject to making these minor tweaks
Yes, sir.
that both Amy and Mark had said that they'll both send to you. And those should be pretty easy to do. But we really appreciate your time to come to us. And we're always happy to accommodate you where we can and wish you the best of luck.
I tell you what, I've heard you guys are a great commission. You're eager to help. I've been working with Chief Starnes a lot. So you're going to see me and Chief Starnes come at you and make things better. So I look forward to working with you. I really do.
Good.
Look forward to
Thank
working
you,
with you
Chief.
too.
Thank you,
Very
Chief.
much.
Good luck.
Take care,
Thank you.
Chief.
Bye-bye.
Leilani,
Bye,
thanks.
everyone.
Amy, Mark, take care.
John, I have a quick
Bye-bye.
question for you if you can stay on the line.
Oh, sure. I'll stay on for a minute.
It's not a commission question.
Oh, okay.
I want you
Do you want me to?
No,
Oh, go ahead.
No, it's just a quick question.
Adjourn the meeting.
Yeah, thank you, Brian.
What did you say, Leilani? Are we still in the meeting?
Adjourn.
You need to adjourn the meeting.
Okay, the meeting is hereby adjourned. Sorry. Thanks, Leilani.
I'm looking
You're
to
still
buy.
live.
What's
You need
that?
to wait. We're still live streaming. Please wait a second.